All right, let's just dive right into this explainer. Today, we're going on a truly beautiful, structured journey into Japanese philosophies that can completely reframe how we approach our daily lives. If you've been feeling, kind of stuck, or if you're just looking for a solid new framework to elevate your personal growth, you are in exactly the right place. We're unpacking 7 deeply motivational, time-tested concepts drawn directly from our source material, and they are absolutely brilliant for building a profoundly meaningful life. But before we start throwing around solutions, we really have to ask ourselves a pretty vital question. What actually drives you when the world feels overwhelming and chaotic? It is so easy to fall into modern burnout, right? We're constantly bombarded with information, with expectations. So before moving forward, we have to pause. We have to reflect on our own inner development and how we're handling that overwhelm. Let's look at the very first step to reclaiming our focus. Section 1. Finding your life's purpose. We begin our journey at the absolute foundation, finding that undeniable spark that gets you out of bed every morning. And that brings us to our first concept, Ikigai. Ikigai is all about discovering your true purpose. It's not just about having a day job or a weekend hobby. It's about finding that core reason for being that gives your life real, profound meaning. Finding your Ikigai is essentially looking for where specific areas of your life overlap. It's a delicate balancing act. You have to align your personal strengths, the things you're genuinely really good at, with your deep passions. But it doesn't stop there. You also have to intersect those with the actual needs of the world. When you finally hit that sweet spot where your passion and your skills meet a real-world demand, no joke, you unlock a limitless well of daily motivation. Section 2. Embracing flaws and letting go. Once we have our purpose locked in, our journey naturally turns inward to process the inevitable hardships of life. Enter Wabi-sabi. This is the profound realization that absolutely nothing in life, and yes, that includes you, is perfect. Think of a broken bowl mended with veins of gold. There is just immense peace to be found in imperfection. We spend so much of our time punishing ourselves for our perceived flaws, but Wabi-sabi, it asks us to completely shift that perspective. There is a wonderful thought that goes, find joy in the imperfections that make life unique. We really need to stop running on that exhausting treadmill of impossible flawlessness. Instead, we should lean into the quiet, kind of melancholic beauty of our unique flaws. They're what make your story yours. And by accepting this, you free yourself from the incredibly heavy burden of perfectionism. Now, I know letting go can be incredibly difficult, but our next concept, Shikita, teaches us exactly how to do it. It translates to gracefully accepting the things that are simply out of our control. Our resistance should just naturally fade away, like water ripples disappearing into a calm pond when we're faced with the unchangeable. The true motivational power of Shikita is this: let go and focus on what you can change. By consciously detaching from the unchangeable stuff, like the past or the opinions of strangers or random unpredictable events, you suddenly free up a massive amount of mental energy. And then you can channel that energy entirely into the steps forward that you can actually control. It is a highly strategic, totally empowering way to live. Section 3. Enduring without comparing. Moving forward on our path means we need a rock-solid foundation of resilience. That brings us to Gaman. Gaman is all about preserving your dignity when times get incredibly tough. It's the inner strength of a smooth river stone just holding its ground against rushing water. It allows you to stand firm when the currents of life are trying their hardest to sweep you away. At its core, Gaman is about showing emotional maturity, patience, and serious self-control, even when you're hit with massive challenges. Think of it like a lone bamboo stalk bending under heavy snow, but never actually breaking. It's not about suffering loudly. It's the silent, unyielding calm of true resilience. It's a powerful reminder to be patient, not just with the world around you, but with yourself during those difficult seasons. To balance out that heavy endurance of Gaman, we look to the vibrant concept of Oubaitori. Out in nature, cherry, plum, peach, and apricot trees all bloom beautifully, right? But they do it in their own unique time. They absolutely do not look at the tree next to them to decide when it's time to open their petals. And this is exactly why Oubaitori is such a game changer for your motivation. It's the practice of never comparing yourself to others. When you weigh focusing on your own unique progress versus trying to measure yourself against others, the choice is totally clear.
Measuring your distinct personal timeline against someone else's highlight reel, that just robs you of your own celebratory bloom. You have a unique path, so honor your own timeline. Section 4. Continuous improvement and mastery. All right, so we've found our purpose, accepted our imperfections, and embraced our unique path. Now we move outward toward lifelong growth. This is Kaizen. Kaizen is the highly effective, disciplined practice of seeking improvement in all areas of your life. It is the absolute engine of lasting motivation because it makes growth entirely manageable. The core idea of Kaizen is surprisingly simple but so profound. Even small changes can add up and make a big impact over time. You don't need to change everything about your life overnight. Honestly, that just leads right back to the burnout we talked about at the beginning. Instead, it's about those small, incremental, positive daily updates, just getting 1% better each day. Over time, that builds a towering achievement. Finally, we arrived at Shuhari. This is, hands down, one of the most brilliant frameworks for how we acquire knowledge and master any technique in life. As the Tao Te Ching notes, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. But how does that student actually become the master? Well, let's walk through the 3 stages of that lifelong journey. Step 1 is Shu. This is where you put your head down, learn the basics, and faithfully imitate a master. You're just building the foundation. Then comes Step 2, Ha. This is where you start to branch out, break the rules a bit, experiment, learn from multiple sources, and integrate new ideas. And finally, Step 3 is Ri. You transcend the teachings. You innovate and apply your knowledge so fluidly to any situation that you forge your own distinct path. It is literally the ultimate evolution of the self.
Wow, we've covered some incredible ground today, moving all the way from finding our Ikigai to mastering our craft through Shuhari. So I'm going to leave you with this question to reflect on. Which of these 7 Japanese concepts are you going to apply today to bring deeper meaning to your own unique journey? Because remember, especially through that lens of Kaizen, mastering even one of these philosophies could be the very small change that makes a massive, beautiful impact on the rest of your life. Keep growing, keep learning, and for sure, trust your unique timeline.